Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Amy Gopal, and I am the Director of Development here at WaterFirst, and I will be the moderator of our event today. WaterFirst acknowledges that our office lies within the traditional territory of the Petun and Anishinaabe, which consists of the Ottawa, Ojibwe, and Potawatomi nations. I'd like to start off by introducing John as our first speaker today.
I'd like to focus on the WaterFirst internship that is our drinking water program. It is definitely, by far the largest program at the organization, and it's had it's increasingly becoming a bigger and bigger part of what we do. Some of the keys of what takes place in the internship and why we do it is that fundamentally we are looking to support young Indigenous adults to enter the field of water treatment and environmental water sampling as well. At the end of the day, unfortunately there are just far too many First Nation communities who are in need of more young Indigenous adults to enter this field. I think it's human nature to some extent to focus on the infrastructure, that the technology is broken. If we fix the technology, therefore communities will have clean drinking water. And while that's necessary, it's not sufficient. It's not the only thing. It's people who run the infrastructure and run it and maintain it and keep it going, and who ultimately are responsible for delivering clean water to the communities. The way that the program actually works is that the interns are working out of their home communities in their home community's water treatment plant much of the time. And then we come together and we convene for focused intensive trainings that typically last about a week long. And then the interns return to their home communities, work out of the water treatment plant with new knowledge, come together for a focused training, and it does that over the course of 15 months. Donors this time, however, and our partners have made a really incredible thing possible, and that is when the Bomose internship ends, the very next day we hope to get started working with. And we will announce here that it's WaterFirst and the Wabnung Bemjuang Association of First Nations. There's 6 First Nations together with Wabnung and the Anishinaabe Nation that we're partnering to launch our next drinking water internship.
The internship is awesome. Commit to it and everything will fall into place.
We wouldn't be here today as an organization, and particularly with the internship program, if we didn't have the support of those donors.
Again, I'm pleased to introduce Mike Murray as our next speaker today. He's the president of Diverse Technical Services and works mainly with First Nations communities and specializes in water and wastewater treatment systems.
But it's very challenging for one operator to run a community system because there's no backup. They're on call 24/7, no matter what happens, even though systems do at sometimes aren't running because they've got enough storage. There's always pumps and other things that are running and systems, even though if the treatment's not going, and there's vacation and sickness and that sort of stuff. So it's been very, very challenging. But these operators and staff that are bringing forward, they're bringing educated, dedicated people to the First Nations, that even if they don't end up being water treatment plant operators, they're going to be key to the communities because of their understanding of what's going on environmentally and with the water system.
Now I wanted to introduce one of our current interns. So Jonas Squiega is a current intern with our drinking water program in partnership with Bamosi Tribal Council.
Taking on water was quite a new challenge because you learn quite a lot and all the issues that come with clean drinking water. And then you become very concerned about it eventually. Like the more you learn, the more you're concerned about it. And those concerns just came to light today, actually, because we were just handed out a boil water advisory, which we hardly get here, but it kind of like puts it into view on what other communities have to put up with, like constant boil water advisories, no clean drinking water and such. And like the boil water advisory we have here is only because the water plant operator, the pump failed, so we had to get a new one, and he switched it out. And he's just doing this for precautionary measures, but like I said, it kind of gives you a glimpse on what other communities have to deal with. You see dirty water and you think, how are you supposed to drink that? And you see the process of how it goes from dirty water to clean water, and it's actually really amazing, and I'm very glad to be part of it. And like, I'm learning new stuff every day about not only water, but everything else, like life that's affected by water. Not only human life, plant life, micro life, all kinds of life, really. And that's really my main concerns, is protecting life and protecting the water, and they go hand in hand.
Now I'd like to actually hand it over to an alumni from our program. So Eric Couture from Chagwinda First Nation was part of the Manitoulin internship.
But it was an amazing opportunity, and I was really thrilled to participate in it because I worked in my community before in other positions being stationed in the water plant, but none of them offered provincial level certifications. Also, it was tons of relevant training that we would participate in as well. So the opportunity to work in my community with WaterFirst was very promising, and for the fact that it was a paid internship, which was a major support for myself, because I mean, it's not about the money, but it was a really great aspect of working in the community. And one of the best parts of working in the internship was the fact that it brought together the entire tribal council, and that was a major highlight for me. Now I can say, like, I have friends in like each community in my tribal council, which I couldn't say before the internship.
Now I'd like to introduce Polly. She's been such a strong and supportive partner for WaterFirst that I'm really pleased to invite her as our last speaker today.
I was first introduced to WaterFirst through my involvement with the Manitoulin Water Treatment Technician internship. It was my pleasure to work in collaboration with the United Chiefs and Council and WaterFirst in delivering this pilot water technician training program to interested community members. Important components of this project included a hands-on training and certification, but also cultural supports and wraparound services for participants. From cultural guidance as it's related to the land, to accommodation for childcare needs and transportation in rural Ontario. I am proud to be involved with WaterFirst and local tribal councils in the delivery of this important intervention, and I am so proud of the participants. This is why I do the work that I do, is to help communities and participants adjust to the labor market, access wealth, and provide a good, stable home and income to their families. So miigwech WaterFirst, and miigwech to every participant. Thank you.
Some of the questions we've been asked, and I don't want to pose it to John, I actually would like to hear your viewpoint, is on what do you feel, how do we measure success of this program?
How do you measure success?
Yeah, of our program, from your perspective.
Yes, success can be measured in a number of ways. I mean, the first and foremost, the way we measure success is do people complete the training? Do they go on to work in the field? And in fact, do they go on to work, period? Sometimes we train people in areas that they may not be that suitable in. They may find that they aren't that suitable, but they still gain employability skills. They still gain the confidence to go on and meet their own goals. But certainly the recruitment that has gone on for these projects have recruited people who are particularly interested in the environment. When we look at one of the projects that started in the winter, we're asking people to go out on the land and do water quality testing in the middle of winter. You can be sure that those people that are committed to the environment are the ones that are going to be applying. Because those of us who prefer a warm place to sit will not be out there in the middle of the winter. So kudos to Eric. So what was the question? Recruitment?
No, it was on just around success and around the outcomes of a program.
We are very, very proud of the recruitment and the success from these projects. The majority of graduates or the majority of participants have graduated. That is extremely good, particularly in this environment. We're also having many, many employers approach us. Just recently, we've had the Coast Guard and the Canada Steamship Lines approaching us. These are the same types of individuals who like to be out on the land, who like to be out in the weather, who may be also interested in those employers. But these ones have chosen the environment. They're committed to their communities, and they're committed to water. So miigwech to each and every one of them.
Yeah, no, thank you. Kind of moving more to a technical end, Mike, we've had a few questions around infrastructure and around how the operations and the maintenance of systems work, and who do you work with when you need support on infrastructure?
Infrastructure is a big aspect of this, and one of the challenges that the communities are having when they have a lack of operators is that they actually don't have the staff to do the maintenance. They're doing the operations because they want to make sure that the water quality is sufficient going out, but a lot of the operations, the maintenance is not always done. So that becomes, and then things start breaking down. So then you have to have things fixed opposed to regular maintenance. That's one of the concerns with not having enough operators.
One of the wonderful things about training and education as a program, and as the basis of a program, is that it is quite self-sustaining in that we as practitioners, we don't have to keep pumping the tires of a program in the long term, because at the end of the day, having those certifications, having that knowledge and experience, no one can take that away from the individuals. And they are then in a field, as Polly is suggesting. There are companies reaching out, there are communities reaching out, and regional organizations and so on. So we see the ultimate employability of the interns being quite stable after, whether it's the home community or moving on to other areas. The employability is super strong.
Great. And Jonas, maybe if you can share from your perspective, like you'll be graduating in April, and what are your hopes for the rest of the program and afterwards?
I hope to continue with this field of work, actually, like make a career out of this, because it does provide wealth for the family, and it provides a good thing for my community. And I am proud to do both of that, actually. And I hope to learn more about environmental science and stuff, and actually go deeper into that knowledge rather than just skim the surface of it. And yeah, it's my main hope of this, what I hope to do after the internship.
Wonderful, thanks. And I guess one final question for Eric and Jonas is just your advice for the next set of interns that'll be joining us next year.
Yeah, so advice I have for the next intern group that's going to be participating in the internship is yeah, just absorb as much as you can, like, and be aware of, like, not only in just like the the actual science, like the science part is important, but also the developing connections and the traditional aspect, which was part of the program, and it's really integral to the program. And it's actually led me to being like I grew up around traditional ceremony, and it actually led me back to where I was. And so I wanted to say like just yeah, soak it all up from like the traditional side things to the science side of things to just the fact of fostering those relationships with your interns, fellow interns, and the WaterFirst team and the rest of the partners.
Well, thank you. And, thank you for everyone's commitment to clean water, to the program that we're doing together. We really appreciate it. We could keep going, but we're near the end of our program today. So I just wanted to say thank you to our panelists, John, Mike, Eric, Polly. Thank you so much, Jonas. We truly appreciate your time and your willingness to share your unique perspectives, your personal stories about the impact of the work that we're doing together and the real needs that the internship addresses and where we're going and where we're heading for the future. I'm so glad that you could join us today. I would honestly love to hear from you. So at the end of our event, we're putting up a slide and my contact details are there, and I'd love to keep the conversation going. So please do reach out. Our work really is only truly possible because of the passionate supporters who care so much about clean water and about solutions and working together to find something that will address critical challenges. So I hope you will continue to support WaterFirst, be part of that solution, help share our information with others who may be interested as well. Again, reach out if you have any questions, but thank you again for your time today, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks so much. Good afternoon.